Hello everyone, this is Daphne and welcome back to the Ebony Tower. Today's video focuses on 4 questions that you should ask yourself before you even think about applying to a PhD program. Stay tuned. I remember when I first decided to apply to a PhD program. I was 25 years old. I was in my 3rd year of teaching, and I was a little bit restless and wary with my current position in life. I had actually spent the 12 months prior going back and forth on whether I wanted to go to law school. It seemed like a logical next step. I knew I wanted an advanced degree, but I wasn't quite sure about whether I wanted to practice law. After talking to some of my lawyer friends, they were like, don't do it, reconsider, read some literature on the subject before you take on a very expensive law degree process and end up not practicing law. So I decided to do a little bit more research about the different types of graduate school programs that I could attend. And after a little bit of research and a few conversations with my roommate at the time, I actually realized that I was very much interested in pursuing a PhD. With that said, I decided to do what millions of other lost mid-20-somethings do every single year, and I applied to graduate school. I enrolled in a PhD program in sociology. Like many of my colleagues, particularly my Black ones, I entered my PhD program with this mindset that I was going to be this public intellectual that was going to use my research to impact communities of color. But I kind of got a wake-up call because at least in my program, during that first year, they really stressed the idea that we were sociologists and not social workers. So I was a little bit disheartened during my first year of my program because I had entered with the mindset that my PhD in sociology was going to provide me with the knowledge, skills, and ability to change the world and impact communities of color. One of the reasons that I had that assumption is because I thought that getting a PhD in sociology automatically meant that I was going to enter this program and I was going to go into the field and I was going to talk to the people who kind of inspired me to pursue the PhD. But I then realized that, well, I was a little bit misguided. There are research opportunities to do that, but I had chosen a department and an advisor who were focused primarily on quantitative research methods. And although I do conduct quantitative methods, I clearly had not done my due diligence in regard to the mission of the discipline and the department that I went into in terms of me wanting to use research to have broader impacts. 2, I hadn't done my research about fit in terms of, was this program going to provide me with the methodological expertise that I needed to conduct the type of research that I wanted? And yeah, I didn't. And I think with the message around, being a sociologist, and not a social worker, it made me question whether a PhD was actually what I wanted to pursue or what I truly needed in order to fulfill my mission in life. And so I had to do a little bit of soul searching to figure out whether I wanted to continue on my doctoral journey or whether I wanted to master out. Ultimately, I realized that it was always my dream to tell stories, to write, and the PhD is an avenue that would allow me to tell people's stories using data and using evidence. So I ultimately decided the PhD was for me, and I decided to continue on into the journey. But that experience made me realize that I should have asked myself some very important questions before I applied to my PhD program. And these are questions that I hope you will ask yourself. So, number one, do I really need a PhD to change the world as I see fit? Will a PhD enable me to serve my larger purpose, or will it cause me to put my purpose on the back burner as I pursue a research-focused degree? Question number two, do I really need a PhD to obtain the job that I want in the future? And this is a really important question because we actually just interviewed an assistant professor at a SUNY university, and he kind of put things into perspective for me. He thought about going into the industry, as we call it, or non-academic job market, and he hit a wall because he did not have the experience that a lot of these industry jobs were looking for. So will the next 5 to 8 years of your life be better spent in a job that makes you qualify for the ultimate job that you want? Or will a PhD put you in the best place to obtain the job that you truly want? Question number three, do I enjoy teaching? And do I want to teach at a post-secondary institution? Now, of course, you can earn a PhD and maybe teach at a high school or teach in another setting. But at the end of the day, many individuals with a PhD ultimately go on to pursue academic careers where you have to do some teaching unless you get grants and you buy out your teaching time. So, do you enjoy teaching? Is that something you want to do? Ask yourself that. On the same note, for question number 4, do you enjoy research? Do you know what it means to be a researcher? And is it something that you enjoy? Do you know the types of research that you will want to conduct? Do you want to conduct qualitative research? Do you want to conduct quantitative research? And is there a topic that interests you so much that you will want to spend the next 50 years of your life pursuing it? Because you'll spend 5 to 8 years in a doctoral program examining this question or this topic, and then you'll move on to maybe an academic setting and pursue it for another 50 years. Is that something that you want to do? You know, getting a PhD is not necessarily what you see on Twitter. Yes, there are a lot of public academics and public intellectuals, but for the most part, academics and professors are publishing, and very few people outside of the academy read that research. Are you okay with that? Ultimately, these are some questions that you should think about and ask yourself before pursuing a PhD. There are many more questions that you should probably ask yourself later in the process, and I'll get to those in later videos, but this is just to get you thinking about, is a PhD truly for you? If you have more questions about this topic, of course, email us at info@theebonytower.com, or you can email me at Daphne@theebonytower.com, tweet us at @theebonytower_, or reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram. Please like, subscribe, and tune in, and I will see you next time.